Hi, my name's Bob. I run a company called Pet UK and we fly pets to pretty much everywhere in the world. All dogs can get a pet passport. There's no restriction on breed or age. You would go to your vets, you'd get them microchipped, you'd get them a rabies vaccination. The vet would issue the pet passport and your dog is set to leave 21 days after that and return 21 days after that. Obviously, if you are going by boat to France, you pop your dog in the car, you speak to the ferry company and off you go. If you're sending your dog abroad on a long flight to Hawaii, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, then you do need to bear in mind your dog's temperament, how are they going to cope with the flight, their age, their health, and all these are things that we can advise you on. Depending on which country your dog is going to, the requirements are different. If you're taking your dog over to the EU, your dog needs a pet passport, and then when your dog comes back, they need anti-tapeworm treatment between 1 and 5 days before they come back. If your dog's going to the States, they need ideally a rabies vaccination and then a fitness to fly by a vet within 5 days of the flight. And for example, a dog going to Australia needs a rabies vaccination and rabies blood sample, ideally 5 months before they fly. Pre-travel blood samples within 30 days of the flight to make sure they haven't got any exotic diseases that they're going to take into Australia. And then they need formal UK export papers to be completed within 4 days of the flight. All these requirements can seem fairly daunting because the last thing anybody wants to do is to get something wrong. The dog arrive at his destination airport with an important piece of paperwork missing. This is what many pet shippers can help with. We can guide you on what is needed for where, give you a list of documents that you need and a list of requirements to work through with your vets, or there are some like us at Pet Air who can do all of these for you. In terms of bringing your pets back to the UK after they've been abroad, pets can now enter the UK from anywhere in the world now and not do 1 second of quarantine on landing. Different areas have different rules. Pets coming back from the EU only need a rabies vaccination 21 days before they fly. There's a second category of rabies absent or well controlled areas which are outside the EU, so this would include the United States, Australia, New Zealand, the Caribbean islands amongst others, where pets again just need a rabies vaccination 21 days before they fly, tapeworm treatment 1 to 5 days before they come back, and they can come back to the UK with no quarantine. There is a third level of countries in the world where rabies is more common. So that would include India, Thailand, South Africa. Pets travelling back from there need a rabies vaccination, wait for 30 days, rabies blood sample, wait for 3 months, then they can travel back to the UK and then come straight home with you. All these rules are in place to keep the UK rabies free, which is why they are all set out depending on the level of risk of where you're bringing your pet from. If you were going to fly your pet and you had to either pick a pet shipper or decide whether to do it yourself, it would depend really on where you're going, because a lot of airlines won't take bookings from private clients. The reason behind this is that if an animal lands somewhere and the paperwork is wrong and that pet is impounded, the airline receives a fine. So fairly recently, many airlines have decided that they're not going to take bookings from private clients. In terms of flying short haul, there are some airlines which will take pets out of the UK to Europe in the cabin, and this can be a really nice, neat, and it's a much cheaper way of flying your pet. All dogs who fly have to go in special International Air Transport Association approved crates. There is a very set rule book about how these crates should be built. They need to have certain width wood, certain width mesh on the front, and they need to be fixed in a certain way. We can build the wooden crates, we can supply plastic crates, and quite often it's pretty helpful to have them at your home for as long as you can before the flight. That way your dog gets used to them. At home you can put treats in there, you can put toys in there, and you can make it a real doggy safe zone. On the day of the flight, the crate needs to be bare, apart from your dog, a water bowl and bedding. Dogs are not allowed chews, toys, balls, food. They are allowed a little piece of blanket with something that smells of either you, their owner, or of them, and that is very helpful to go in their crate with them, to have something from home. If you have your crate before the flight, then obviously the crate is going to smell of your dog, and so it becomes a little piece of home that goes with your pet. So they are comforted by this. In terms of picking your pet shipper, look at people's internet sites, call them up. You get a much better impression of how a company will look after you and look after your pets. You're going to entrust your dogs to these people, so you need to be happy and confident that they're going to look after your dogs, look after you, and make sure that the journey goes as smoothly as possible.